Edinburgh has many famous areas, most notably the old and new towns, but within them are distinct neighbourhoods, all with their own unique characteristics. One of the most common historical remarks about Edinburgh that it is a city of villages. Causewayside is one such quirky place. It's basically a street, or streets if we're being kind. Its origins date back to the 16th century, and its name comes from the Scots causey, meaning a sort of a paved or stone road. People might technically say it means something else, but I'm using a bit of poetic license. Originally a rural area to the south of Edinburgh, by the 18th century it had become swallowed up the city and had become a residential place. The reason I find it fascinating is it's just a hop, skip and jump from the city centre, but it's completely off the tourist trail. There really isn't much here, but it is, as stated earlier, a distinct part of Edinburgh, and thus it has pubs full of character and history. Oh, and this building as well, which I find fascinating. It always strikes me as someone building what they would think the future might look like. Anyway, I think it's from the late 1980s. It's part of the National Library of Scotland, and it houses its impressive map collection and a very impressive map reading room. So if you ever get the chance to go there, please do. Now, this is where our story for today takes a little detour. I was in Causewayside last Friday for some work, and I was due to finish around about lunchtime. And I thought it was a perfect opportunity to start visiting a few pubs for this channel and sort of doing reviews again, and to do a bit of a mini pub crawl. Alas, work ran over and I just didn't have time to do that. But I had taken a few pictures earlier in the day when I was walking down, so why not? Here are three historic pubs of Causewayside. So here we go, the Old Bell Inn. One of my many bugbears about Edinburgh is there are a lot of ye old pubs that are nothing of the sort, but they play in that vibe. Now, there's nothing wrong with that in itself, but when they're nestled next to genuine old pubs, it does feel a little bit unfair, in my opinion. The Old Bell doesn't fall into that category, though. It might have only been a pub since 1977. That's still 49 years at the time of speaking. But the building dates back to the late 19th century, so it is an old, authentic building. The pub itself is the traditional Scottish pub with wooden panels, beamed ceilings, and of course bells everywhere. It's basically a cosy pub. It's almost got like a country pub feel to it. You can pop in with your dog on a cold day. It's got a friendly family feeling. Everybody is welcome. It's just a cosy kind of wintry pub. It's absolutely fantastic. Well worth a visit if you're ever in Causewayside. Pub 2 is Swany's. Literally, the next building down from the Old Bell Inn is Swany's. Now, the Old Bell can definitely be described as a locals pub, but Swany's came up on Google as a proper locals pub. Strangely enough, I kind of actually understand what that means. It's a bit more of a place where you pop in for a blether over a beer, watching the football. It's got that kind of vibe, that kind of thing. Whereas the Old Bell is more of a cosy meal, pint or two kind of situation. Still, it is an absolutely cracking pub. On a tangent, Sony's also provided me with a good example of why you shouldn't try AI when sort of doing research. Because according to one famous sort of AI bot that everybody knows, this place has only existed since 2017. Now, I am not ancient, but I can assure you it was there a long, long time before that. So yeah, Swanny's, more of a local pub, more of a local vibe than the other two, but still an absolutely great place for popping for a beer. And last, but by no means least, John Leslie's. No, not that John Leslie. This is an absolute cracker of a pub. It's a late Victorian place, a great example of its kind in Edinburgh. It appears to have opened in the late 19th century, but it takes its name from the licensee of 1902. It really is like stepping back in time to that Victorian areas of pub looking decadent. It might be my sort of unconscious bias here, but I rather like Edinburgh's version of Victorian pubs. They always seem a little bit more stripped back to me, not as gaudy as some of the sort of London equivalents that you get. That might be a legacy of Jim Palace's sort of down there. Whereas the Edinburgh versions have that more functional, maybe almost Presbyterian feel to them. Their primary function is to sell drink. They can look spectacular, whereas I think the ones sort of down in London especially look spectacular, but also sell drink. but it has all the hallmarks of a Victorian pub. It's got partitions, snob screens, little bits. They're not quite snugs, but they're areas you can sit in private and discuss, the upcoming revolution and politics and all that kind of thing. It really is an absolutely fantastic example of a Victorian Edinburgh pub, and I say well off the tourist trail, so you'd be able to sit in there quite quietly having your beer. So there you have it. Three classic pubs, all off the tourist trail, all with their own unique character, and all within a couple of minutes walk of each other. So if you're ever in Edinburgh and you fancy something, I say a bit of the beaten trail, head down to Causewayside. Three very local but historic pubs are absolutely fantastic. The pick of them is John Leslie's, in my opinion. I should say there are other pubs in Causewayside. We were sort of down the south of it, or I was down the south of it. Up the north end, there was a few more bars, one of which is the Brass Monkey pub, and they're sort of a small chain of Edinburgh, sort of independent pubs. They're not really historic pubs as such, but they do great beer, great food. So it would have been a bit remiss of me not to mention the fact there is a Brass Monkeys pub in Causewayside as well. I've not done these kind of pub reviews for a long time. I do enjoy doing them, even if no one else does, but I quite get a kick out of them. So I might start trying to do a bit more of them and actually go into the pubs and have a pint anymore. Always a good excuse to do that. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye for now.